Of course, it is always said that youth played a very vital role in every given society, but that depends on how it is being, transferred, or it is being done in a way that everybody aspires it. In South Sudan, we have a lot of people, so many youth. But the question is, what are these youth are doing? What exactly are they doing? And still also there is an association that governs this youth, that makes sure that the youth has to be taken in a right direction. But still people are asking whether South Sudan Youth Union is doing enough to make sure that our South Sudanese youth from every corner are united. In this forum of Roundtable viewers, we will be talking basically about the contribution of youth. What are they doing to ensure that our South Sudan country that is now currently in a turmoil is brought back to dawn of peace and development? We hosted the president of South Sudan Youth Union, that is Dr. Albino. Let him explain to us what exactly is happening in his organization that our youth are not really united. What is happening and what are they doing to ensure that our youth are brought together to make sure South Sudan realize peace? Dr. Albino, welcome to Roundtable Show.
Thank you, Brother Gore. First of all, I want to extend my greetings to all the viewers of the SSBC all over the world and inside the country. And it is my privilege to be with you in this round table.
Yes.
Concerning the question that you have asked, yes, the youth are very, very divided, simply because they are influenced by what is going on in political arena, because at the end of the day, they have a relation with this politician in a way or another. And this led to division within the youth. But since we came as the youth of South Sudan, as the National Youth Union, we have been calling for the reconciliation and peaceful coexistence, because what is happening in South Sudan is that the majority of the youth are not educated. The level of literacy is very high. So these groups of youth can fall victims of politicians who have their political agenda to be passed. And that's why sometimes you can see us being mobilized in a semi-tribal lines to defend politicians who are not even serving ABCs of our lives. This is the fact. So the National Youth Union or the youth of South Sudan are not an exceptional from this political chaos happening in our country.
Dr. Albino, you just put it right that our youth are being used by politicians. You're the president of South Sudan Youth Union. You are the overall leader of youth in this country. We are seeing like you're not doing enough to make sure that you convince them not to accept to be led by, actually to be taken out by a politician who always comes for their political interests. And we are seeing that happening in your organization. What do you say?
Yes, I may not be having that much influence, but due to a lot of circumstances around the National Youth Union. Since we came at the time where youth are already divided by 2013 conflict. And to bring them together again is very, very difficult. But we are optimistic because a lot of the youth now in the most affected areas of the conflicts have started to be conscious about our national cohesion, to come together as South Sudanese who are having the same destiny. Now the Great Upper Nile is actually gaining the stability again, and Yei and Maridi and all these areas. Recently, all the trucks started from Maridi to Wau have actually got the access. So these are the sign of peace that youth of South Sudan have started to understand the importance of peace and forgiveness.
Is your organization doing that, Dr. Albino? Because remember that whatever is happening in South Sudan, it's not being executed by this politician. It's not being done by those who are actually, aspiring to gain your popularity or to gain their seats or to gain their interests. It's being done by youth. And these are the people that you're supposed to get them right in your way. I wonder whether you're seeing it hard to actually convince them, despite of the fact that you said some of them, it's due to illiteracy. But then you still have a role to play, Dr.
On,
Albino.
on the process to approach all these youth, we are facing a lot of challenges.
Okay.
As you know, since we came to the office, no budget is given to the National Youth Union, and we have submitted it twice to the Minister of Youth and Sport. But to the reason we don't know, the budget did not reach the Council of Ministers and the National Assembly to be passed. But we are still knocking the door, especially the Office of the President. Our President is conscious about the situation of the youth and is always helpful to let the young people gain their consciousness, gain their capacity building so they can be a part of decision making. For example, the scholarship that the National Youth Union now is doing to the youth of South Sudan, to Israel, was through the Office of the President. It is the President of the Republic of South Sudan who have donated this chance to the young people. It was possible to give it to the Minister of Agriculture, but he said, let it go to the National Youth Union so the youth can come under the National Youth Union umbrella to be trained, so tomorrow they can come and execute their projects, so they can become job creators more than become job seekers. Now we have the second batch going this year to Israel, and already the first batch are graduating in next coming April, and we are waiting them to come and be a job creator, and this will be an opportunity for those who are not having jobs. If we have some skillful youth who can cultivate in a modern agriculture, I think we can change the whole thing in South Sudan.
Dr. Albino, we understand that of recent, people do say South Sudan Youth Union is not active, is inactive. That's why of recent we saw a lot of forums coming up, association coming up. Every youth, you find certain group of youth organize themselves and they come up with something that they want to do. Let me just give you an example. South Sudan Young Leaders Forum. It's a group which is created. It's a forum that is created of recent. They made the leadership, they made the first vice president, they made the speaker, they made government officials in this country. And their main objective, they say they wanted to unite the youth and they need to work for the peace in South Sudan. Here you are. Tell us, are we having different, bodies all together working for the interests of youth, or what do you say?
First of all, the right of assembling is a constitutional right in the Republic of South Sudan. Everybody or any interest group is having the right to organize themselves. Coming to this issue of the Young Leaders Forum, I don't see them as the competitors of the National Youth Union. At the end of the day, we are working for peace and reconciliation to happen in our country. And those who can assemble themselves to do the same are actually helping the National Youth Union. But the question is, in my own view, this Young Leaders Forum is a
First of all, are you a member of that organization?
I'm not a member because the way I see them, they are political interest groups. And we, the National Youth Union, are not a politician.
Okay.
We are non-partisan, non-political organization. Take, for example, the main campaign now they are saying is they call something, we can call it generational exit, saying that all these leaders must pave the way for the young people, as it happened in China.
Okay.
But the challenge or the question that will come up from the beginning is that by which mechanism are we making this generational exit? Because in China, it is passed in their constitution. It is amended in the constitution of Chinese Communist Party. But in South Sudan, to implement these ideas of generational exit, you need either to pass it in the constitution of the governing party or the mother constitution of South Sudan. And none of this is happening. And if we make it to be something to be debated, which I really appreciate, them to go and exhibit their ideas to the public. Let them explain to us more what are the mechanisms of achieving this generational exit, because I'm wondering the way, because what I see as the National Youth Union, we are saying that yes, for continuation of generations, through elections,
Yes.
through systematic way of doing things. President of the Republic is having right to take those who are actually long serving in the government and bring new faces
Yes.
through the right way of doing things. But to call for the whole generation to exit, it is something not making sense to me.
Dr. Albino, do you want to admit here that this every...
We don't mind.
Okay, viewers of SSBC, let's go for a short break and pick up from there as we discuss about the youth contribution towards peace in our nation.
The Round Table Show is a platform where we discuss topical issues that affect the nation. We engage our guests in hard questions and get their inside views on the matter. Join us on the Round Table Show on SSBC.
Hello viewers, welcome back from that short break. We are still joined by the President of South Sudan Youth Union, that is Dr. Albino Bol. And we are discussing on what is his organization currently doing to unite the youth and to work towards peaceful building of our nation. And you can hear from him as he explains more about that. Dr. Albino, before we went for the break, you talked so much, and we asked you whether your organization is doing enough. You admit that you're doing enough despite of the challenges you're facing. So basically, we want to know what were the reason for your visit to different nations, and what is the benefit of that to the youth of South Sudan?
First of all, it was my privilege to go to US. I first go for the UN Youth Forum. It was on Economic and Social Council Youth Forum, UN Youth Forum, in New York for 2 days from 30th and 31st of January 2018. And from there also I was invited by the Congressional Committee in the White House to attend the 66th Annual National Breakfast Day at the White House. And it was actually a golden opportunity that we met different officials from the government of the United States. And also we met some congressmen and women, and we have shared and compared some notes concerning our current politics in South Sudan. The current situation is a concern of everybody, because a lot of things are being exaggerated in the media about South Sudan and the talks in Addis and all these things. The youth are in the center of this thing, because those who are making ambushes, those who are worsening the situation in South Sudan are the youth.
Yes.
So all the questions and all the answers were actually upon myself to answer Americans concerning some issues. And I had made it clear for them that we as the young people of South Sudan, we don't see America as an enemy to South Sudan.
Okay.
Because American people were the very people who stepped in and helped the people of South Sudan during struggle time in order for them to gain their independence that we are enjoying today. Yes, we do recognize their contribution and the contribution of Troika and IGAD and some neighboring countries. But as a sovereign nation, we must be respected, especially from America and from whoever claim that is a teacher and they want to correct things in South Sudan. They have to come and sit with us to know exactly what is going on in South Sudan, because the issue of arm embargo, for example,
Yes.
I have discussed it with them. It is not a solution to our problems, because let us agree that the absence of weapons doesn't mean peace. Peace needs consensus. Peace needs everybody to forgive another. And the only way forward is by South Sudanese themselves. So if America want to help the people of South Sudan, let them come and listen carefully. What is prolonging the conflict in our country? It is not the weapons. Because if you see it nowadays, the appeasement of the rebels and the recognition of rebellious groups is actually the real cause. Because if you want to say
What do you mean by saying recognition of rebellious group, Dr. Albino?
I want to say, if a certain group rebel today, or any general removed from the army, for example, and tomorrow you hear him in Khartoum or in Nairobi or in Uganda saying that I become a rebellious group, and people of IGAD step in, and Troika step in and say, okay, you go to Addis, let us negotiate, and they will come back.
And they are
Those who have
positions.
looted this country are the one now being negotiated in Addis to come back again and loot more. Then how do you expect the conflict to stop? Because if those who have killed people making ambushes on the road, and we have some confession on the SSBC saying that I was the one making ambushes, for example.
Dr. Albino, let me just cut you short.
Yeah,
As being the president of South Sudan Youth Union,
yeah.
leading the youth around South Sudan, all over, let's get to know now. These same people you're mentioning, the generals, or there are some who are not even generals, but if you carry arms against the nation and you go to the bush, God just forbid, if Dr. Albino today is fired from opposition and decide to join any group of his own, he may create his own name and go to a bush, whether around Juba or wherever, any place that of your choice. If you come back, you're given position, you're promoted. Where is the blame going to? Whom do you blame for such?
The blame is going to international community and some friends who are backing these rebels. Because let us take the issue of arm embargo, for example. Now, it's look like you are giving a patient infected with malaria, you are giving him a paracetamol. You are not treating the case. Encouragement of the rebellions groups is what is prolonging our conflict. Because how do you expect the president of the republic to make the reforms in the system if you are removed today and tomorrow you are turned to be a rebel and you will get support from neighboring countries? And this is automatically a message to those who are paying allegiance and keeping quiet as normal citizens in the country, is a direct message to them that if you want to be promoted and you want to be seen in J1 or you want to be seen as a minister, please take arm and make ambushes and kill the citizen and you come back. Because at the end of the day today, what is being negotiated in Addis is what to be given to Mr. X and Y.
Yes.
Even Troika and IGAD are proposing 4 vice presidents to the president of the republic.
And youth are backing them up.
Which it has never, youth are backing up this politician simply because they become like the point of getting into the system.
And what is Dr. Albino doing?
We are telling them this is wrong. You have to be a normal citizen. You have to do the interests of the nation first, as one of American's president said. Do the interests of your nation first, and then your nation will do your interests.
Okay, Dr. Albino, as we're about to conclude, let's get to know. What do you tell youth? Of recent, you know our youth, how they are. You've confessed that you cannot do enough for some reasons that you have mentioned before we went for the break. What do you tell our youth who are now divided along different lines? There are youth who are with Mr. X, there are youth who are with Mr. Y, there are youth who are with Mr. A and X and Z up to. You mentioned them. What do you do as the president of South Sudan Youth Union? What are you doing currently to ensure that you bring this youth to understand that it's not all about moving after so-and-so is what you gain popularity, but it's about how you work for the benefit of your nation?
First of all, my message to all of them is that we were strong and we were able to liberate our country only when we were united as one people, before any political division or tribal division. It is when we know our role as the youth. We are the future of this country.
Yes.
Those who will be the presidents and secretary general and ministers are youth. Tomorrow they are going to be. If we destroy this nation, then the whole legacy that we fought for is in vain. That's why my message to them is simple.
Yes.
Let us come together as one united people who knows their interests. If the base, who are the majority, are actually oriented and know their rights, then none of these politicians will be able to send me and go and make ambushes on the roads or kill some people simply because they are from tribe X. And none of these tribes will eliminate others. We are 64 tribes. God has created us as a designer, as an engineer for this diversity, and we have to live in this colorful nation. We have a lot of abundance of resources. We have the potentialities of being a great nation in the Horn of Africa, but without reconciliation and forgiveness and working together in a peaceful coexistence, none of this is going to happen. So my simple message is that we will be a great nation only, and we will be called a nation when we forget what our tribe men and politicians tell us. That is the only situation.
We will be a great nation and will be South Sudan once we forget what our tribe men and women are telling us. Viewers, you've just heard it all. These are the words from the president of South Sudan Youth Union. Remember, there is some basic message that he gave. One is forgiveness. Secondly is how we can reconcile ourselves as South Sudanese. And then we forget the past and open a new chapter. South Sudan is a big nation. It can take all of us. So viewers, please do stay tuned. We will be coming back to you in another episode of the Round Table Show. It has been a pleasure having you, and please continue to join us. Dr. Albino, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.